Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we are bringing you this podcast from the front seat of our car in Calais, France.
No, Saint-Omer actually, Saint-Omer. So good start, but
How far away from Calais?
We're about 30 minutes outside of Calais.
Do you know what that's called, Brian?
Yeah,
it's
that's
called
just,
being pedantic.
It's being called being a man.
Yeah, it's called being a know-all. Anyway, so we're just outside Calais.
Yeah.
And this is the last day of our day in Europe, and we just thought there's lots of different emotions going through us at the moment, and we just thought we're going to share them with you. So this is a very unstructured podcast. It's literally like a behind the scenes just look at how we feel about leaving Europe, what our plans are going forward. We want to talk about the car and what we plan to do with the car.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea, just to give you a picture of where we are, we're sitting in a car park.
Yes.
Facing the Airbnb that we're not allowed to check in until 6 o'clock. That's ridiculous.
I know.
I've never heard of that before.
I've not. It's normally after 3 o'clock, isn't it? Airbnb or something like that. I mean, at times it can be between 5 and 7 or something like that, but 6 o'clock and then be out by 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa.
So it's a nice little town, actually. We just drove in and it's got like a big canal going through the... Is that a canal there?
There is a canal. It's behind us, actually, at the moment.
Yeah,
canal,
and it's got tree-lined streets. So,
I mean, it could be a navigable river, so a bit like a canal. So, yeah.
Tree-lined streets. The weather is just nice and cool. It's just... I'm still in a vest, you know, like a sleeveless vest. So it's still warm.
A
but
singlet for those people in New Zealand.
You can definitely feel it, can't you? The weather has changed.
Yeah, it's a lot cooler than... well, for sure, it's a lot cooler than Italy. It's even cooler than the mountains.
Yeah.
Which is saying something, isn't it?
Yeah. So we left Italy and we drove up to the mountains, stayed 2 nights in the mountains, and we were going to do a podcast there, and we were just... Well, why didn't we? We were too tired,
do you know
weren't
what it was? Well, we said we'd... Yeah.
You were in a bit of a mood.
I think I can't remember what it was.
A bit tired,
yeah,
weren't
a
you,
bit
Brian?
tired, probably. It was a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all as it was, I think what I'd ended up... having a few phone calls and things like that, and it was just like they'd gone on longer and it was just getting later and later. And so it was just like, okay, we just need to get some dinner.
Brian got a bit annoyed actually, because what it was is normally Brian likes to take... No, actually that's wrong. It's not that you like to... No, I was going to say you like to take control, but that's not the way to describe it. Normally you're brilliant at just booking the Airbnbs, but for some reason when we were in Italy, you said to me, oh, let's book them together. And I don't know why you said that, because... Do
you know why?
Why?
Because I had an idea of the length and where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And so I wanted like a 6 or 7 hour, 8 hour drive, then stay somewhere for a couple of nights and do another 6, 7 hour drive and then stay overnight.
So why didn't you just go ahead and book it? Why did you need me to hold your hand to do that?
I didn't need your hand to hold that.
Well, you did.
But what it
You're
was...
holding it very tight.
Because I said, oh, we'll do that. And I don't want to go there again.
I know, well, I didn't.
So there you go.
Why didn't... So
I said, that's when I was
this
just
is
like,
actually a compliment for you,
I'm
Brian.
not going to book it then.
This is actually a compliment, but now you're turning it into a bit of an argument. But actually what I'm trying to say is you're really good at normally booking the Airbnbs, but this time you said to me, I need you to book this with me. And I said, oh, can't you just do it yourself? And you're like, no, I think we should both do it. So we both did it. And as a result, because I am a tight ass, I booked the cheapest places, hence the reason we're sitting outside and can't get in till 6 o'clock. This is the sort of place I book. You know,
we were going to have a 4-bedroom house, which was 40 New Zealand dollars more just for the one night, the last night in Europe.
Yeah.
So now we're on
But that's what I'm
the
saying.
side of a road, nowhere to park.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you should have booked. But the funny thing is, this is let this be an example. Let this be a lesson to anyone out there.
That Brian is always right.
That is mean like me and thinks, I don't know, what's that saying when you save a pinch to save a pound?
No, it's
pinch penny, save a pound or something.
And no, it's penny wise and pound foolish.
That's right. So here's a classic example of penny wise, classic foolish. Okay, so
penny wise, pound foolish.
So Brian said,
wise, dollar foolish.
We're going to stay in Briançon and this lovely place in the mountains. And I looked at it and it was like 150 New Zealand dollars a night, which is £75, probably about 100 US, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way, I'm not paying that for a night's accommodation. Bearing in mind, we've been house sitting for 6 weeks. So we're used to paying nothing.
yeah.
So when you go from paying nothing and then suddenly think, I've got to pay $150 for a bed, I don't think so. So I said, no, let me look on Airbnb and I'll find us something better than that. So on Airbnb, you go on the map, how it works. I don't know if you've ever been on Airbnb, but you go on a map and it shows you all different prices around the area that you want to stay in.
Yeah, you get little flags coming up, don't you? Yeah.
And then if you very, very carefully pinch out, the map expands and it shows cheaper prices because you're not in that nice area anymore. You're in the dossy area around on the outskirts.
It's not great to do it in the mountains, that, is it?
No. So I sort of I just pinched out with my fingers and it went from 150 to $99. And I'm like, there you go, see? I've just saved us $60. So Brian goes, all right then. So
look, it's not that far from Briançon.
Yeah, I said it's not that far from Briançon. So there you go, Brian. You're not looking properly. Let's go with my recommendation. Yeah. So we go ahead, we book it, and we put the address. We put the address into the sat nav when we're leaving Italy.
Well, that's what we didn't do, and that's what I normally always do is check the route, because there's lots and lots of ways to get to different places. There's a lot of toll roads in Europe, and I normally put that in so I can just check which way we're going, but we didn't. And I just said, as we were driving, I put Briançon in because we'd been there on the way through, so I know, it'll take us on the same route.
Not far, only a little pinch.
It'll just a little pinch away.
Yeah, it's a pinch away.
A pinch in the mountains is, yes.
So anyway, we're driving along, and we're all these mountains to the side of us in the Alps, just huge big mountain ranges, absolutely glorious scenery, beautiful. And we were like, oh wow, look at it, it's so nice, isn't it? Oh, we're going to be there in a minute, Brian. We can make our spaghetti bolognese, because we'd brought some frozen spaghetti bolognese from the night before. Yeah. Bolognese, not spaghetti. And then all of a sudden we start approaching
I said, we were going up the main road, and I said, give me the address, because we'd better put that in, because, we put the address in.
You didn't say that yet.
Or did we not?
No.
Okay.
So we're driving along, looking at the scenery. No, don't try and make it that you've got it, you had it sorted. We're driving along, looking at the scenery, and Brian goes, oh, what's this? What's this coming up? Is it a checkpoint? Is it a passport thing? And I said, oh, Brian, it looks like a tunnel. It looks like a big tunnel that we're going to have to go through. And you come along, you're driving up, and it's just all these different lanes that you go in, all big flashing, come this way. Italy, leaving Italy now, going into France, like a big. Well,
it was a full-blown
official
checkpoint. It was a checkpoint.
And what it was it the Mont Blanc tunnel?
No, it's the
Fréjus
tunnel. But the Fréjus tunnel is owned by the people who made the Mont Blanc tunnel as well.
Nowhere to turn around. Well, obviously we couldn't turn around because we'd just been climbing up the thing. So Brian now's getting a little bit, I don't believe this. It's the tunnel. It's the tunnel.
It's the thing that I was saying that normally I check to see because I don't like going through the tunnels, because they range from around about 40 euros up to 90 euros, 100 euros.
Yeah. So is it too loud, by the way, with all this? Should we put the windows up?
No, it's all right. It's fine.
So I said, well, can't we just go a different way? And Brian's like, no, we can't. This is it. This is where we are now. We're going to have to go through this tunnel to get to this place that you've booked. And we come up to the checkpoint, and the woman's like, 69 euros. And it's like 69 euros to get through that tunnel. Is that how much it was, Brian?
No, it was 45 euros.
Oh, was it 45?
Yeah, 45.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking New Zealand dollars.
Yeah, that's what that was. You were. Yeah.
So
it cost us $70 basically to go through the tunnel, but in euros it was 45 euros, and it was just like, and I'm straight away thinking, shit, why did we come this way? Because if you go to Briançon and looking on the map, when you just list, oh look, that's only that far away, thinking, oh, that's on the valley out to Grenoble, and no, it wasn't, because that's what I said. We'd put on going up the péage is when I said we really need to put the address in, so it gives us more of a realistic time of when we're going to arrive.
Why didn't you put the address in?
I didn't. I should have put it in when we left.
And why didn't you?
Just because it was a bit of a rush that morning when we were just getting out, because I knew we had.
Do you regret that now, Brian?
Yeah.
Why?
Yep. Because that's what happens, isn't it? You rush. But to be honest, although we would not have, if we'd gone to Briançon, we would not have got to this, because it's a whole valley over. Now there's no road that goes over the mountain range. So in theory, it would have taken us another 3 or 4 hours, because we would have had to drive literally around the block, around the mountain block, to get back to the valley that we needed to be in.
So this cheap little accommodation that I thought I was being so clever by booking actually cost us almost double what the original one that Brian was going to book.
Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, where it was a stunning,
it was gorgeous.
Stunning valley, and it had this beautiful little deck. But I tell you what, when we walked into that room,
It's a bit
Bri,
stinky, wasn't it?
it stunk of sweat, didn't it?
Yeah, it stunk of really bad. Like, you get these walkers that probably walk for 3 days and hadn't had a shower. And that's what it smelled of.
It did.
It smelled of their socks and shoes and their underwear.
It didn't smell like underwear, did it? It just smells sweaty.
After 3 days walking the
So
Alps.
imagine this. We've now driven for 8 hours from Italy. We're fuming because we've had to drive through, well, Brian's fuming because we've had to drive through this tunnel and pay 75 New Zealand dollars. And then when you turn up at the accommodation, we open the door and the smell just hit us. It was like,
just not just bad. There was only one little window, and you had to leave the door open and the window open.
Yeah.
It was a tiny window. And the other thing was, we had to do the cleaning.
Yeah.
And guess what?
What?
There's no bleach.
Yeah. And what's your life without bleach?
That's
What
just
did you
a
think?
shocker.
What did you think when you saw there was no bleach?
Oh, I was because I found one of the main causes of the smell in the room, which was the dishcloth, because there was no linen allowed, was there? I think they gave us a pillowcase each and a smelly towel.
Yeah.
And the towel smelled like, you've left the washing in the washing machine too long before hanging it up, and everything just was like a bit.
Do you know
smelly.
what? I think there's a fine, and I don't want to be negative about this, because the positive of that place, and that's the reason I booked it in the first place.
That
I'm not
deck.
joking. Yeah, the deck that came out from it was separate to the house. It looked over the valley. It was all sparkly lights in the mountain.
Yeah.
It was a big V cut into the mountain, and we were above the V, looking down onto these sparkly lights in the evening.
Oh, it was
like something out of a
fantastic view.
film set, wasn't it, Bri?
Yeah, it was, and it was just stunning to be there. The mountains that are going to be covered in snow. There's a big hydroelectric station down the bottom as well that you could see, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
So that was really, really lovely, but I think it just needs to be a lesson that, do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say anything under 100 New Zealand dollars, really, Brian.
In Europe, you're not going to get much.
You're not going to get much.
Yeah, anything under 80 euros, you're not going to get that.
Is that
much.
what it is? 80 euros?
80, 90 euros.
Well,
yeah, but as I say, 70. It's about...
It's about 70 euros, isn't it?
Yep.
Which is 100 New Zealand dollars.
About 100 New Zealand dollars. That's when it starts to be half decent. Depending on what time of year it is. I mean, don't forget this is September, so it's not... All the kids have gone back to school, so...
So that was that, and so we didn't feel like doing a podcast when we got there, did we? We just went for a nice walk at the mountains. While we were there, the Queen died.
Yep.
Didn't she, Bri?
Queen Elizabeth II popped to clogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really sad. And I mean that seriously. I'm not being sarcastic.
I'm not being funny. It's like whether you're a royalist or
I am
whatever,
a royalist,
or a loyalist or whatever you want to be. Like if whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's a loss of life, and so it's a sad situation, isn't it? Like and
also that's part of the reason we're being a little bit, oh come on, is because we had a conversation with someone about this, and there's loads of it on social media. You don't, you have to go on and have a look, and they're like, oh, so what? Who cares? It's like good, it's costing us loads of taxpayers' money. Oh, no, I don't like it.
It's not until you actually look at it and you think, well, the amount of tourism and income that the royal family bring in far outweighs what the British taxpayer.
It's our history, Bri.
Yes, but it's all the jobs it gives everybody.
I know, but what I'm saying, that aside, this is your history.
All I've ever known from, being born in 1963 is the Queen of England.
Yeah.
That's it. And, and after 70 years of her ruling the country, she's gone, and it's just like she dedicated her whole life to England, and the Commonwealth.
Me and Bri were watching that. That Netflix thing. What's it called?
It's called The Crown.
The Crown.
It's very good.
It's brilliant.
If you ever want to watch it, just if you got Netflix, jump on in, because it's especially we only got to like 1.5 seasons, didn't we? Because we were literally coming on this trip.
Yeah.
And the first season, I think the actor that played the Queen was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Prince Philip.
I like Helena Bonham Carter. She's playing Margaret. She's brilliant.
Yes, but Margaret, she's another one. She was fantastic in it. It's a well worth watch. You actually understand the royal family a little bit more.
Yeah.
That it's not as glorified as what it looks.
So that's our view on the old Queen thing. Is
it's sad.
It is sad. And also, Brad, do you know what I always think? These people that are all cocky and going, oh, get rid of the royal family. Who needs them? I wonder what they would do, right? If you were just sitting in your house and there was a knock on the door, and you went to the door and you opened it, And there's Prince Charles and the Queen stood there and
Yeah.
saying, "Excuse me, we've just broken down. I don't suppose you could help. I can't do the voice of the
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? You'd just be so in awe, and you'd be like,
You'd be
"It's
like,
the Queen,
yeah.
you know, it's the Queen
the
of
house is going to
England."
worth a fortune now.
So yeah, it was a
But do you know what? Do you know what? It's and this is what I said was Australia. It got put to the vote not that long ago that to basically they're a big enough country. They don't need to be part of the Commonwealth and take away the Queen as the figurehead for Australia, and they voted no. And you just
You know
think,
why though, don't you, Bri?
why is that?
Well, so that was a bit of a.
Why is that, Liz?
No. I'm telling you a serious question.
Yeah.
You know why they voted them
'Cause
out, don't you?
No, they didn't vote them out. They
No,
voted to keep them out. Voted to keep
you
them
know
out.
why they voted to keep them in, don't you, Brian?
No, go on.
No, that's all you needed to say was,
Oh.
no, I don't, Liz. I don't know what you're going to say. They voted to keep them in because in New Zealand, right,
Yep.
you get a day off to celebrate the Queen's birthday.
One day off. It's
Yeah.
worth it, isn't it? It's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking. But
No,
yeah,
I know.
you do get a day off in New Zealand. I think that's brilliant. But I don't know what the future of the royal family will be. Like I know Charles will do well, and I love William because he's Diana's son, and any blood of Diana is blood of mine. And
Is it? Right,
yes,
okay.
it is.
Yeah.
Because
England, the English rose.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Diana, don't get me started on Diana. Diana should be the Queen of England.
Which she should have been.
Camilla,
Yeah.
I haven't got any affection for Camilla. I'm sorry, Charles, but I haven't.
No.
Diana should be on that bloody throne with a crown on, with her two sons side by side.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's who should be
With
on
William
that throne.
saying, "I'm next, Dad."
No, so I don't know what's going to happen after Charles and William, but
It doesn't really matter. It's
No.
just that
I
King
hope we
Charles,
always have the
King
royal
Charles
family.
III, and that's it. Like it is what it is. It's an institution, and at the end of the day, they bring billions of pounds worth of money into the country. They do, and people go, "Well, how does that affect the people?" It's like, well, look at all the jobs, look at all the hotels, look at the knock-on effect of what that royalty has just for London alone.
yeah. But like, yeah.
Tower of London. It's all about the.
But it's more. I know you keep saying about the money and the revenue and all that, Bri, but you obviously feel a bit different
But
to me
people-
because to me it's something that stirs inside me of like our history. I know I keep saying it to you,
Yeah.
but when we talk about being in New Zealand and you haven't got that rooted, like people will say about
Yeah.
the Māori and how they feel connected because it's that's their earth,
Mm-hmm.
that's their land, that's how I feel about England and the royal
Yeah, of course it
family
is.
and
That's
just
where your roots are, isn't it?
yeah,
But-
it is.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's just that's your history. That's
Yeah.
that's where that's who you are,
Yeah.
and that's why I don't want to see it go.
No. Well, I don't think it should go because it's like it's sad when you start. They go and then what happens next?
Anyway, so that was that in France, and then we drove down, stayed with a couple, stayed in an Airbnb again last night, and then here we are in Calais, and we were just saying about the car. Let's talk about the car as well because
Yeah.
don't know what we're going to do with the car, do we, Brian?
Well, the thing is, we're trying to sell the car. We're just going to sell it. We've got a few sort of avenues open, whether we take it back to New Zealand, but there's just the problem of getting a 30-year-old car through compliance if there's a bit of rust on it or something like that. The other thing is we put it on out to an auction, obviously with a retainer on it, so if it hits the retainer, then it gets sold. Vice versa, it's put it back in storage and.
Which isn't ideal.
It's not ideal.
No.
Ideally we'd want the money out of it. Just protecting your investment that you put in. As long as you get your money back, I don't really mind if I lose a bit of money because at the end of the day, we would have had to hire a car or buy a vehicle at something.
We paid just so you know, we paid 18,000. What was it?
Well,
we've already talked about that.
all right. Yeah, £18,000. Yep.
Yeah.
And we spent about just under £4,000 repairing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enhancing it.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is.
Yeah,
enhanced.
I wouldn't say repairing it.
Yeah.
I would just say enhancing
is.
it
It's-
because
yeah.
it's never driven better since we've had that.
No, and the
worked
other thing is you buy a restored car, the chances of them putting it back to the way that the manufacturer put it back together is never going to be the same, is it? Because there's always going to be something that's not quite right. They didn't do this, so they didn't put that back in the right place because that's what happens, isn't it?
I must admit though, we've had it for sale in the UK for the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And some guy, he showed a bit of interest, but he was offering stupid price. And we're like, no, we're not going to.
Yeah.
He was offering lower than we paid for it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So we didn't take that. And now we've had basically no one else.
No, well, there's people interested in New Zealand.
Yeah, we've
It's
had a lot of interest.
1,500 people view it in New Zealand. There's 107 on the watch list for it. But again, there's no one coming up and going, hey,
here's your money.
Here's your money. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit of a. I don't want to say it's a worry, because do you know what? I'm not worried.
No, I'm not worried.
Because I was thinking about this the other day, Brian, when I was writing my notes down. I was writing all my thoughts down, and I was like, what's on your mind, Liz? Because this is what I do every morning. I just write down, basically it's just called I call it writing notes, but you've probably heard me talk about this before. It's where you write three sides of longhand on an A4, 3 sides of A4, longhand writing, all your thoughts. Basically, it's just a mind dump of. It's not a journal. It's not a. This is what I did today. It's almost like you talk to yourself through just getting your thoughts out.
Yeah.
And it is an incredible exercise. I've been doing it now for 8 years. I've done it daily for 8 years, and I can't tell you how much it helps me. Just to get things off my mind and talk things through with myself. Anyway, I was talking to myself.
But it's improved your mental state so
my
much.
God,
Liz.
yeah.
It really has.
Yeah.
You're so much clearer now, and just the way you run your life. It's a big difference
when
you
I don't
do
do it. If I go for 2 or 3 days without doing it, I notice a massive difference. I just haven't got that clarity.
It's like a self-help therapy that you do daily, isn't it?
And it's free.
Yeah,
it's amazing, and it's free, and it works.
Yeah.
So if you want to know any more if you want me to talk further about that, or you want me to help you or talk to you about that, send me an email, liz@itsadrama.com, and I will happily talk till the cows come home about doing morning notes. Anyway, so I was doing these morning notes, and I was talking about the car, and I was thinking, I'm worried, and I was thinking, I wrote down, no, Liz, you're not worried, because do you know what? That car is going to sell. Whether it sells this week, next week, 6 months,
a year, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
It is going to sell.
Yep.
And you're going to get the money back, and that's it.
Yep.
You might get less than you paid for it, and if that's the case, exactly like you just said, look what we've had out of this car, Brian.
And even if you turn around and said, let's do the same next year, we'll go to Portugal, we'll go to Spain, and you just think, well, and then you don't have to worry about buying a car.
And I know you've got to pay for the storage,
But
and I know that's inconvenient.
Always
and
going up in value. So as long as it goes up £1,000 a year, which it probably would do, you're protecting your investment, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you just got to look at it like that sometimes and just think, hey, you know what? Yeah.
So I think sometimes you fall into a habit, don't you, of like what your old sort of condition. Like for instance, I'm a worrywart. I'm an absolute worrywart about certain things, and I almost was thinking, why aren't you worried about this? And that's what I was trying to say is, it's because when you think about it logically and sensibly, it's like you haven't got anything to worry about.
No.
You really haven't got anything to worry about.
You really haven't.
Because if you needed the money desperately, then you'd drop it 10 grand or 5 grand and sell it.
And get your money back
out.
out.
And go.
Yeah. And you just think, well, we're talking nearly 5 months of trying to hire a car. Look at that. How much is that going to cost you? It's thousands, isn't it? It's going to cost you. When we had the car being fixed, that hire car was costing us £300 a week.
And that was a good rate as well.
That was a very good rate, yeah.
They've given us a discount rate.
Times that by 20 weeks. 20, it's
some memories as well that we've had out of it. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was going to say as well, me and Brian, just to give you, when we went on that world trip with the kids, we took the kids around the world for a year, and to make some money to try and fund the trip, we went to the UK and we bought a caravan and a Range Rover, and we shipped them both back to New Zealand, thinking that we were going to make, we thought we were going to make about 30 grand, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We thought we'd make it, between 20 and 30,000.
Yeah.
And
we're like, yay, quid's in now. We're going to get, this is it. We're shipping it back. This is before COVID, so shipping was relatively cheap. It only cost us £1,000 to ship it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's gone triple that.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah. Anyway, we get it back to New Zealand in the November, we did all this work. I won't tell you about the story about how it was banged and wrecked and wouldn't go through compliance, because that is a very long story. But Brian spent a lot of time. The
Range Rover story was just like, ended up being a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Financially, I mean, I did most of the work on it, so
we lost money, didn't we?
We just about broke even on the Range Rover.
Yeah.
Just about. So again, I always said it would have cost me at least £3,000 to hire a car. And we still broke even. So it wasn't a bad investment, but it just wasn't good.
Yeah. And the caravan, we dressed it all and we bought all things for it, and we got Sonny to do a drone shot, and he put all this sales video together.
Yeah, it was a great video.
And we started marketing it in the December, bearing in mind that's right in the middle of New Zealand summer. So terrible time to market it, because who's going to buy a caravan right in the middle of the summer? Yeah. And we didn't sell that caravan until what? April?
It was the following year. It was August. We sold it. It was crazy because we just weren't getting anything, and then we sold them within a week of each other. They sold the same week for some unknown reason. It was in August, yes. So we'd had them. I think they shipped in. So we had it for 8 months in the country.
Right. So 8 months, and this is what I'm giving you a comparison to how I feel about this car. 8 months, Bri.
Yeah.
I would sit there every day worrying myself sick, going, why isn't it selling?
Yeah.
This was just a waste of money. Look at all this money we're losing.
Yeah.
I feel sick every time I walk out into the driveway and see this flash car and this bloody big caravan. All our money sitting on the driveway. Oh my God, what have we done? Why are we so stupid? Blah, 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 blah. All this.
For nothing.
August. Sells.
Both gone in the same week.
Both gone.
It's just like,
here's your money.
In the middle of winter when you think you wouldn't be selling it.
All that worrying for nothing. And that's what I think about this car is like, ideally, I'd love it if next week someone said, oh, are you going to Thailand? Oh, there you go. Here's your money. We'll have your car. We'll buy it off you. Fantastic.
Yeah, but they might well do.
Yeah, they might buy. But if they don't, it will sell.
That's it.
Won't it?
Or we've still got it. So, and we'll sell it next year. We'll sell it whatever.
We will sell it.
Yeah, of course.
And when we sell it, we'll make money on it, and that'll be it.
Yeah. And even if you break even, I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So that's the thing with the car. So, so that's that. And then where to next is we are going to England to, what's that noise?
No, it's our Slack group.
Oh, okay. We're going to England to spend some time with our family. Brian wants to spend time with his dad, and I'm going to see my brother. And we're staying with my brother, aren't we?
We're staying in East Devon. So, yeah.
We're staying there for a week. And then the following week, we are in Kent, just outside London. And we're house sitting for a week.
House sitting again, which is brilliant. So
two lovely dogs, two rescue dogs. The guy and the woman seem really nice. And here's the thing, here's the little twist. The people that we're house sitting for, the man, he is a classic car fanatic.
He's a classic car enthusiast, as you would call it. Yeah, he's got like a I think it's early 1960s or late 50s Porsche. And he had a Golf GTI, which he's just sold because they wanted a bigger car for the lanes, obviously the safety reasons around these small lanes. But I think he's already got his eye on this. So I just want to have a chat with him because he might know some friends and stuff and cheaper storage or whatever.
That's what the lady said when we spoke to her for our interview to get the house sit, because when you go house sitting, you do a video call. And when we spoke to her, we told her what we were doing, and she said, oh, my husband would be interested in your car. And then she said, oh, but, it's a little bit small for us because, like Bryce said, they live in the lanes and they've got, high hedges and it's not very safe and all the rest of it. She said, but he's well into all that and he's got loads of friends who know about selling classic cars. So we're going to be Brian's going to be talking to him tonight after we've done this podcast. You're going to talk to him, aren't you?
Yeah.
And even if, he might know someone.
Exactly.
And he might, and we're hoping that he might tell us a cheap place to store it or whether he wants to buy it or anyway. So we'll tell you about that next week. What happened? Well, it won't be next week. It'll be in a couple of weeks because we're not going there for another week or so. So that's just something as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but we wanted to just talk about the feelings of how you feel when your trip is coming to the end or anything like that. Where it's just like this. Oh, it's getting over. You start to get, I don't know, it's got to come like, not upset, but you just sort of get, where, what are we going to do next? Well, you just, you're going to be going to a different place.
What are we going to do next? Tell everyone where we're going next.
We're going
in
to
2
Thailand.
Weeks. Yeah, Thailand.
Yeah, and like we said at the start of the podcast, we went and booked the flights and everything.
I know, we've messed
thinking that it was normally like a 60-day visa that you're allowed. But with COVID and everything, they dropped it to 30 days.
No, it was always 30.
Was
it was never 60.
Yes, I always thought it was 60, but
Yeah, no.
I think I was probably getting mixed up with Japan or something, like, you know.
Yeah.
So, but they're extending it to 45 days from the 1st of October. We're going on the 27th of September, aren't we? So we've got to then reapply for a visa once we get there.
Yeah.
To extend it by, it's only 5 days.
So just to be clear, in case you didn't understand that, because that was a little bit complicated.
It was very
When you go to when you visit Thailand from a specific country, including the UK or New Zealand, I'm not sure about the States and all the rest of them, but UK and New Zealand, you can enter Thailand visa free and stay in that country for up to 30 days.
Yes.
We booked our flights in and out, and we're staying there for 38 days. And when you go online and it's like, what happens if you stay in Thailand for longer than 30 days? It's like, oh, you can be deported, you can be fined, you can do this, unless you apply for a visa while you're there, a tourist visa. But like Bri just said, they have just announced, literally the 2 days after we booked our flights, you can stay there for 45 days.
Yep.
But it is only valid from the 1st of October. So we're waiting to see now, when we fly into Thailand on the 28th of September or whatever it is, 27th, are they going to say to us, oh, go on, Liz and Brian, we know you're a brilliant podcast. You bring joy to many people.
That's it. We know you're all right.
You and the old fella, go on, in you go, through the back door.
Yeah.
You can stay here for 45 days. Are they going to say that? Or are they going to say, well, hang on a minute, you've got a flight out of here that's over 30, you're staying in this country illegally.
Yeah, for 7 days.
Yeah,
days,
what are they going to say? Are they going to say...
But that's what keeps us on our toes, isn't it? So we're just
Are
going
you a
to
bit
find
frightened,
out.
Brian?
No, I'm not
I am.
frightened.
Have you ever seen Bangkok Hilton with Nicole Kidman? Yeah, have you ever seen that? I tell you what, you don't want to mess with the Thai people.
You don't. No, you don't. Well,
Because you'll be straight in the Bangkok
I had a
Hilton.
little argument with a Thai policeman once and thought better of it.
Yeah, did you?
We got pulled over because we weren't wearing helmets on the motorbike.
Yeah, and what happened?
But I'd been charged 2 days before, and
Charge what?
you get a fine, but they're supposed to give you a ticket, and it's a crazy law that I think we've talked about this before. But you get a ticket which indemnifies you for the next 30 days. As in, if you get stopped again, you show him the ticket.
Yeah.
But the guy never gave me a ticket, and I didn't know that. And I went to say I got fined 2 days ago, but I didn't have a receipt or anything because it's the police.
So you had no proof.
They were just ripping me off.
So what did he say?
I started having a go at him, like, you know. And
Why? How did you? When you say how to go, why? What
this
did you
is
do?
crazy. I got stopped 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You have to pay cash.
Are you crazy? Are you mental? Why would you start an argument with a policeman in Thailand?
What he did, he got a little bit upset, like, you know. And then I just thought, oh well. I said, how much is it then? And just paid it.
Yeah, I should very much think so as well.
$60.
Yeah.
I just think, you cheeky little boy.
No, you don't. You honestly, Bri, you don't mess with the Thai police.
No.
I don't know what it is. Thai.
Well, why would you?
Well, but no, I know,
Wouldn't
but
mess with
that's
any
what I'm
policeman.
saying because, but some policemen you can sort of get it on police people.
Disrespectful to the police, that, Liz.
Why?
Because it just is.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have a problem sort of like trying to argue my case with a Kiwi policeman, a police officer.
No.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't. No,
I wouldn't mess with the Americans because they carry guns.
Well, so do these guys.
Who?
The Thai police.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right, but...
Well, we don't know if it's all right yet.
No, it was then.
Oh, well, then,
No,
yeah. So that's our other thing. So with our little drama going on with our Thai visas, with our thing going on with the car that we're bothered, not bothered, bothered, not bothered.
Yeah, but you're bothered, really.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Bri. And the last thing is I'm going to see my brother, and he's not very well. No, that's wrong. Actually, he is well. But he has got a tumour behind his eye that he's going to be a cancerous tumour that he's going for radiation for in a month's time. He was diagnosed a year ago. He was going for regular checkups, and he had radiation treatment. It hadn't grown, and then literally 2 weeks ago he went back for his regular checkup, and they said it's grown. So that is, you know, I'm very confident, and so is he, and so is his wife and family, that he's going to have this treatment and it's going to be very effective. But it's at the back of your mind all the time that you're thinking, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. I don't want to,
Yeah, but it's you're the other side of the world. That's
Yeah.
how I want to go and see my dad. He's 87 years old, and it's just like, it's kind of hard leaving. He lives on his own and everything, and it's just like, it's not easy. That's the emotional side of things, living the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The inevitable day. It's like when my mum passed away. It's you never want that call. You never want that call. It's not good.
And I think just it's almost not easier, because that sounds a little bit cold-hearted, but it's almost easier when you are away and you phone and there's no way. I'm 24 hours away. I can't, there's no, it's
not an easy option just to come home.
No, it's not an easy option.
Yeah, it's not the finance, because you just think, oh, well, we'll find it somewhere and we'll make it so. But it's the time and disruption.
Then when you're
everything
here
else.
now, to know that we're only going to be with him a week and then I'm going to go again, that is playing on my mind, because it's like, I said in the Slack group, we've got this private community for people, support people moving to New Zealand, and I actually wrote down what I was feeling. I just had to let it out somewhere, because it's like and I said, you're almost like you've got one option. You don't go, and you're like, no, I'm sorry, we're going back to Thailand, and listen, oh yeah, see you next year, bye, because it's almost like you can't face that leaving again, that whole goodbye. That's what I'm dreading. Is just like that whole
every time. And this has been a bit of a double whammy, because we went to Greece on this trip, came back to England, you see everyone again, and then you say goodbye. So it's the saying goodbye is always the worst bit, and now we're going to go and throw ourselves through it again. And it's only 2 months later, isn't it?
And our family have even said to us, they've said, just don't
bother coming back.
Come back. And do you know why I think they're saying that? Because they can't bear it either.
No, they don't like it neither. Yeah.
Because who likes it? Who likes going, see you, off you go to the other side of the world now.
Exactly.
Don't know when I'm going to see you.
Yeah.
Do you know what, actually, Bri? If the car is still here, that's almost like a really...
I know. Sometimes it's
everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
It's like it's there for a reason,
Yeah.
And it gives you that connection back with the UK, So let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the day, it's like it's just money. You can't take it with you, can you?
But with my brother, I've got to say as well, and I feel there's sometimes in your life that you just feel it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think this is going to be fine. The surgeons are very confident that with this proton technology that they've got nowadays, it's pinpoint precise, and I think everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, he loses his eye and gets rid of the cancer. That's not a very nice thing to talk about, but that's it. Yeah. So you've got to keep positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, Bri, I think people get annoyed if you. Do you think like this as well?
What's that?
I just think sometimes when people have got crap going on in their life, and there's us traveling around Europe and everything. I don't know. I know it's inspirational and things like that for people, and it's like gives people hope. But sometimes I just think, do you feel like that? I just feel
I do. But do you know what? It's like this is not a holiday we've been on. We've quite clearly made. We're not here sitting on the beach having cocktails right this second, are we? We're here doing a podcast because this is what gets us out there to the world, and.
Yeah, to inspire people.
To inspire people. To
do the same.
What we do, I don't look at it, it's like we are the multimillionaires in the world, because we're not. We've got a mortgage.
Well, not
we've
yet,
got
right?
this. No, I'm not saying that, Les. But what I'm saying is what we do is achievable by anybody.
I know.
It's just whether they want to put themselves out
Yeah.
there. It's just like there's some very wealthy people there. They're very, very hard to aspire to.
Yeah.
And it's too big a jump for people to make. But what we try and do is this is achievable.
Yes.
You could be doing this as well, and it's just it's a different. I know we're not talking about everyone leaving the kids and families, but it's like I'm 59 years old, and this is great for me to actually go on an adventure again at this age. It keeps you wanting to be live longer and be there for the kids and everything
And actually, do you know what? I'm going to tell you. I got a message from someone off YouTube the other day, a lady, and she just sent me a message and she said, dear Liz and Brian, I have just binge watched, it's Sunday here in New Zealand, and I have just binge watched all of your travel vlogs, and I have literally just got off the internet booking my flights for next year. You have inspired me to do this trip. I cannot wait. I'm 58. I'm going to Europe, and oh my God, and I was nearly crying when I read it. I was like, oh.
But that's what this is. That's what we do it for. Is to make people say.
She said, "I'm going to house sit.
Yeah,
I'm going to go around house it." And I just thought, oh yes. And that's the things you've got to remember is, that's the people that you're helping and changing the way they live their life and giving them hope and confidence and inspiration to do all these things exactly like you say. And I've got to remember that more often.
And that's what it is, and that's when you say, if I was on holiday for 6 months and I was swanning around doing something, and because I've got that much money, I don't need to work anymore. It's far from it. We've been away to work. It's like when we did our podcast about San Gimignano, about going to a tourist place for a day. That was a day off. We took a day off. But realistically, we've been working 7 days a week.
Oh yeah, but
you know what I mean.
Don't make out that we're just like slaves to the grindstone.
We're not saying we're working.
I mean, what we're doing is amazing. That's not.
But I'm just trying to make you feel not so guilty that you're not doing anything different than anybody else. It's just that we're choosing to do it in a different location each time.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and that's not. It's just because it's not
we love
the
our
norm.
job.
Yeah, but most people work from either home or they work from for a company, work in an office, and that is supposed to be the norm. Well, nowadays it doesn't have to be.
No.
It really doesn't.
No.
There's lots of things we can do. Yeah, all right, if you're a builder, you're going to have to stay and build a house, but there's nothing saying you can only build houses in your town. You might want to build it in a town.
Oh, look at you, Bri. You went to Chamonix in France, and
exactly.
You got a job, didn't you?
Yeah, I was doing loft conversions up in, not barn conversions.
We just stayed. I'll just tell you this, and then we'll go because I know it's getting a bit long now, this podcast. But we just stayed at an Airbnb last night. Oh, see, I told you I was emotional. It's everything. There's all these emotions going on.
This is what I was trying to talk about before, which we never finished, was about the emotions of leaving part of your trip. We never got back to that, did we?
Didn't we?
No, we never did, no.
Well, what did you want to say?
Well, we got talking about Thailand instead. No, you carry on. I was saying you're feeling emotional.
No, I was just going to say, the Airbnb that we stayed in last night, it's in the middle of France in the Chablis region.
Yep.
And they offer for €50, they cook you a 3-course meal, and we took them up on the offer. And there was another...
€25 each, that is.
Yeah, €25 each. And, they give you starters and main course and wine and pudding and
very
everything.
French.
Very French and very lovely. And there was another French couple there, and there was a lady there from California. And she was, how old was she? 60?
65.
And she was a friend of she was a friend of the woman that owned the Airbnb. And she'd literally just got off the plane 2 days earlier from California, and she's coming to Europe to start a new life. She's a widow. She's left her daughter in California, who's 33.
Her daughter was in Arizona. So,
was she?
Yeah, she was, yeah. But the fact is, she'd sold basically everything. Sold her cars, whether she had property, everything, furniture, the lot.
Yeah.
She sold the lot just to give herself a new life over here.
Yeah, and she's coming over. She hasn't got any plans.
No visa.
And she's just starting again. And I looked at her and she, when I said to her, where do you see, I felt a bit bad when I said that because I don't like it when people ask me questions like that. And I don't even know why I asked it. But I was trying to make conversation, and I said, oh, where do you see yourself in a year's time? And I saw the look in her eyes. She just looked so worried and so scared.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be in a year. I don't even know where I'm going to be next week. And I felt, I wanted to take her to one side and just say, do you know how inspirational you are? Do you know that there are hundreds and thousands of women, and not just women, probably men, but women our age, 50 upwards, that would look to her and think, you, my love, are my hero.
A wonderful inspiration. Yeah.
You can do anything. You can podcast, you can vlog, you can write, you can do anything you want to do. Just tell us how you're doing it and what you're doing. And you are a massive inspiration to me.
Yeah, she was doing modelling and all sorts of stuff, wasn't she?
And I just thought, how many other people, Bri? It was just, and she didn't know.
No.
She was just like trying to get through. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. If
I think she knew she could do something. And, you know, she said, oh, I've got a friend in Paris who's lived there for 21 years without a visa.
Yeah.
And you just think, wow, that's inspirational because, you know, I think she will get a visa because she could speak 4 languages.
Yeah.
She's a full-blown interpreter, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Like, you
she
know?
was amazing.
Yeah, French,
But you could
Spanish.
see the look of panic in her face and
Yeah.
the look of unsureness and, you know, the insecurity and fear, basically. You could see she was around these other couples and you could see she felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
But although she felt vulnerable, to me, she was like this beacon of inspirational light.
Yeah, she said, you know, I lost my husband 12 years ago. She said, I just feel like I am more of a free spirit now because if I want to do something, I don't have to ask someone if you think you want to do this. And I just, and it was great, wasn't it?
And it just goes to show that how you're feeling, exactly like you just said, because I just said to you, oh, I hope people don't think, you know, that we're being all like, oh, look at us, you know, life's great for us.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know what? That's not how people see you. And you've got to remember that.
I know.
You've got to remember that that voice in your head that's telling you, you know, oh, this is what people think of you. No, it's not.
Got to come to an end.
Yeah, but
Oh,
no, it's not what they think of you.
Yeah.
It's not. And that message from that woman on YouTube shows this is what we think.
Yeah.
This is how you're helping us.
That's it. Even if it's just one person that you actually have helped in that day, you know, they've got through, even like you guys, you're listening to this, if you're still listening to this, like, you know, and hopefully you're going to get something out of it that, do you know what? I'm going to give that a go.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. I'll try and do something different. You know,
Yeah.
I might look for a different job because it's nice and safe what I'm doing at the moment. But are you happy? Well, that's what it comes down to again, isn't it? Like, you know,
Might just change direction. And
Yeah.
and also, if you are still here and you're listening to this, it's not always easy, but that's fine because you'll get through it. Just like, you know, we're getting through it. It's just different emotions just pop up and you just cross that bridge as you come to it. But because you're doing what you want to do, it's almost worth it, isn't it? It's just, well, it is worth it, not
it's
almost
so,
worth
so
it.
worth
It's
it, 'cause, you know,
it's very much worth it.
I look at what we've done in the last 4 months, the last 16 weeks, we were just totting it out, weren't we? Like, you know, and you just think, goodness me, you know, and you think right now, you think, oh my, it's gone so quick. But actually, no, when we were doing it, we were appreciating almost every day of what you were doing. And when, you know, the 6 weeks house sit in Italy, it felt like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It really did, because it was great because you're appreciating everything you're doing. And that's it. If you're in a job that you're not appreciating, your life is flashing by at the speed of light because you don't appreciate the day that you're doing and stuff like that. So it's never too late to change.
No.
It really, really isn't, is it? Like, you know, and that's the thing. As long as you're happy with what you're doing and you appreciate the time of passing, that, you know, it's there. Like, you know, I just think you've got to look at it that, you know, you're at a point in your life where you think, you know, oh, it's all flashing by too quick, but it's not. It's just slow it down, start to breathe and just think, and just, you know, we all think, oh, that went so quick, this year's gone nowhere. Well, it's just like, no, think about it. What have you done this year? Remember what you've been doing, and just that sort of stuff. And,
Yeah, just be present for the time.
I'm not
that
thinking
you are
that.
there.
Yeah, it's just, it's so many people just say, oh, this year's just gone nowhere. Well, why? Why did you make it go nowhere? It's that sort of stuff, isn't it? It's going to be Christmas soon. And you're like, oh.
I think as well, don't underestimate how brave you can be. I think that's the biggest thing, and that's what I saw in that lady's eyes last night. It was like, you are such a brave woman, and we've all got it in us. We're all brave. We've just got to step out there and do it, and don't underestimate yourself. And like I say, like today, this is why we're doing this now. Is just be real, you know. Just be kind to yourself, and know that this is what's going to come up, and this is how you're coping with it, and sharing that as well, Bri. I think is so important.
And just,
it's showing people.
If people are saying, oh, I'm too tired to do this, I'm too tired to do that, like, you know, we've just done a 600k drive through the back roads of France because we didn't want to go on the péages.
Couldn't afford it.
But you still feel energized.
Well, you know why, don't you, Brian?
Why is that?
Because you've got me sitting next to you.
Well, there you go.
Who wouldn't feel energised having me,
Exactly.
the little bundle of joy, sitting next to you?
Thinking how much money you've saved on your Airbnb today.
Oh, anyway, so that's
come on,
that's
people.
it.
Yeah.
That's our that's our time in Europe coming to an end. So the next time, next time you see us, next time you hear from us, we will talk to you from England. We will be in England, and we promise to do a podcast from England for you.
Yes, we will do. We'll do it from Kent.
Yeah,
Yes,
and we'll tell you whether the
farmhouse in
guy
Kent.
helped us out with the car.
Yeah, see where we went from
Yeah.
that or whatever. Yeah, so yeah, I think keep it exciting, and that's what I'm looking at it. And just keep putting yourself out there. Put yourself out your comfort zone every day, even if it's just a cold shower.
Oh, you and
There
your
you
cold
go.
showers, bro.
It's all about that longevity.
Yeah, and my
isn't it?
advice to you is just don't underestimate how brave you are. Don't underestimate what you've got inside you.
Yep.
And also my last piece of advice, which I need to remember myself, is don't forget what you are to other people, how you're being the help that you needed. I always say that, don't I? It's just like, be the help you needed. And I needed someone to show me that actually you can go to Europe, because you're not going to get bombed by the flipping war. You're not going to get COVID and die. You're not going to, petrol isn't going to be so expensive that you're going to be on the streets begging for money because you're so starving. It's like all these things that I was scared of. And if you go back and listen to the podcast that we made, Why I'm Scared to Travel, I share all those things, and they were genuine fears that I had to try and get over. And so if by what we've done for you in the last 4 months, if it's done anything but just show you that Europe is here, it's open, it's wonderful, people are wonderful, they are kind,
Warm-hearted,
lovely people all around Europe, wonderful,
Yeah.
absolutely lovely. And just go and enjoy it, I think.
Yeah, just smile.
Yeah.
Smile, and the world will smile with you.
Okay, so until next time, thank you so much for being here, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, so kia kaha, stay strong, kia u, stay true, and that is true to yourself, okay? That's so important.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See you next time.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Liz. If you're enjoying this podcast, then I'd love it if you considered signing up to my weekly email newsletter. This is a newsletter where I send out all the details of what's going on in our lives with the kids and with travel. And right now, I'm in the middle of writing a book about traveling the world with a family. And I share all the details, the good, the bad, and the absolute hilarious. I don't share this with anyone else, only the people that have committed and signed up to my email newsletter. If that sounds like something you would love to do, and you'd like to get to know me better, then sign up after you've listened to this podcast by going to www.itsadrama.com/hello. That's www.itsadrama.com/hello. I really look forward to getting to know you better.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on the podcast. We have loved having you here.
If you guys could subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review,
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
that would be absolutely amazing. And make sure to share the podcast with your friends.
And if you'd like to hop over to the blog, find one of the little boxes that ask you to drop your email. I will send you a newsletter every week letting you know when we've released our new podcast. That will go
that'll be nice.
straight into your inbox. So it's www.itsadrama.com.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week for another podcast.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.